But what is so important in the interim is that here you have the women who live in this very rural area, a lot of farming, and the transportation, it isn't as though they could quickly get to Delhi. They can't. And it's even hard enough for them. I could see many of the young women coming by bus, you know, to the college, and actually the teachers also. And it takes a while to be able to get to the college. But if you didn't have the college there, which you established, what, about 6 years ago?
In 1999. We have completed 7 years. And we have already had 239 graduates with B and BSc and MA degrees out of the college in the last 5 graduating classes since 2002. But the important thing here is, speaking of students coming on camelbacks or jeeps or buses to the college, that they come from some 70 different hamlets and villages, 1 or 2 or 3 students from each village every day. And they represent all social and economic groups in the area, all religious groups in the area, which are basically 3 groups, Hindus, Muslims, and Jains. And all are represented in our student body, and all of them have graduated, all the trades in the area. So we have done it, my dream, namely opening opportunities literally for everyone in society. And we don't charge any tuition because they cannot afford it, at least at the moment, because there is really no industry in the area, basically farming, and mainly dependent on monsoon season rainfall. Sometimes it's good, sometimes there's a drought for 3-4 years. We charge very nominal fees, non-tuition fees, because I do believe, obviously, in the market system and pricing of things, you have to pay. But if you cannot pay, then either charity has to pay or the government has to pay. Like in the extreme, for example, Ireland has done a remarkable thing. They opened up higher education on a free basis to all their people. And they have moved up to number 1, number 2 in Europe in a matter of 25 years. So we know the power of education. As I said, the United States or Canada or Australia and all the Scandinavian countries, Switzerland, these are the countries on top. And we know their history, and it is the focus on knowledge and skills.
Well, it's so important for all of us, you know, to be sure that people in other countries are educated, because educated people, hopefully, we can all get along as, you know, from country to country with good education and to cut back on the whole issue of terrorism and everything else. I mean, education is really going to be our key to national security.
Actually, many people have commented on that point, comparing, for example, especially Tom Friedman of the New York Times in his columns, and other people have commented and written serious papers when it comes to terrorism, when it comes to Islam, that a country like India, which has some 150 million Muslims, you know, second largest Muslim population in the world, generally speaking, very peaceful group. Generally speaking, following the country and so on, and generally speaking, not at all extremist. On the other hand, you take countries like Pakistan or Afghanistan or Saudi Arabia and so on, where you have very, very small fraction of population with education, and they go only to religious schools, and then religious leaders teach them whatever they teach them about the religion and the extreme views, and people are willing to act out. So we know that research and opinion is clear that if you have democracies, if you have education, then people are going to act according to what we know Adam Smith told us, which is self-interest. And they're going to be peaceful and actively, positively engaged in this world for themselves and their families and with their country.
Well, I found such positive responses when I sat there at the graduation ceremony, which, you know, you had us all in our black robes. Just, I don't know whether the Indian population usually has a ceremony quite like that, but it looked like any college, university in America's ceremony. And I know you had me helping to hand out the graduation certificates to the young women, but I looked out and I saw all their families that had come, and you could just see the pride in their faces when they saw their daughters or their sisters step up on the stage to get that graduation certificate.
Well, this is really, as you know, both in terms of idea and money and effort, really an American college. It's not a U.S. government set up college, but it's an American college. And we follow all the procedures of how colleges are run here because the benefit I have of being here. And therefore we decided from day one, since 2002, our first graduating class, that we'll hold a full ceremony, graduation ceremony, just like here. And we publish a book with all the bios of students and pictures. It's very important to create that tradition. It's very important to have the alumni association and to recognize individual students and their families. And I'm sure that not only our students have been doing extremely well in the university examinations compared with others, I'm sure leaders will come out of these groups.
Oh, I am sure they will. And I actually have a letter, sir, that I got from one of the students. I think I have a new pen pal, and just let me read just a couple of things, because when I was there, I handed out my card, and I had an opportunity to speak to a lot of students, but also we went in and spoke to a class, and I was interpreted, so I'm not sure how everything came out. And I had an opportunity, which we'll get into later, with a conference on domestic violence. But I felt such a connection, and as I gave out golden apples. You asked me about bringing something, and I thought, oh, what do I bring? And golden apples from Westchester County, and of course we have the apple in New York State is our fruit. So, and we have the Big Apple in New York City. So, but this is from one of the students. She said, "My dear Sandra, I am quite well here, and I hope you are also quite there. Really, I'm impressed very much with your loving nature. I miss you here very much. Many thanks for your lovely present, the apple, which you gifted me before some time. Dear, I don't know how you felt later meeting with me, but I became very happy. I don't know that what word I would call you, friend or other. Please write me. I'm telling you about my family. My father works in a bank, and my mother is a housewife. I have one elder sister and one younger sister and one younger brother. And I will write about the family." And she's asking me, she said, "I understand English, but I'm unable to speak powerful English," she said, "but I am practicing for it. Your nature is very friendly, so obviously I have to keep speaking English to her." And she's written me a poem. "I found a pen, that is blue. I found a friend, that is you." I don't know how many other pen pals I'm going to have, but you hope that the American woman and the opportunities that we have will by having women come over, will reflect on the women of your college.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
And I think hopefully this is a good example.
Yeah, and you did a tremendous honor to us and to the students and their families by being there, because so far some 4 dozen Americans have gone with me to the college. And that's just tremendous. People from all around the county have donated books and monies and so on, and written things. So and our Congresswoman is very supportive. Our Senator is very supportive, and they have sent congratulations letters, which we have published in our graduation book, as you know, this year, including your own congratulations. So these things are very important as examples in making connections, people-to-people connection.
Absolutely.
And giving the individual a chance. So when people ask me, in what way is the college American college? Well, you focus on individual, you focus on competition, you focus on skills, you focus on giving to community, back what you got from it. All those, and you allow the market system, you create entrepreneurship, and just build systems, positive systems.
Right.